It started subtly, innocently at first. A comment on a forum here, a direct message there. Men who were strangers, unknown to my life's daily routines, became small sparks of curiosity. They were anonymous, temporary, and unjudged. With them, I could explore a version of myself I had buried under years of routine, under the weight of commitment, under the expectations of marriage. There was a thrill in the freedom, a dangerous kind of liberation that I never anticipated. I would tell myself it was harmless, that it was just texting, just fleeting connections. And for a while I felt lighter, as though every conversation, every flirty remark, peeled away the layers of monotony that had dulled my world. But soon, words became invitations, invitations became meetings, and meetings became encounters that I could no longer deny were real. There was a strange duality in living two lives, one of security and routine with James, and another of intensity, passion, and reckless abandon with men I found online. I remember the first time I felt the full weight of this freedom. It was a Thursday evening, and James was at work. I had arranged to meet someone in a hotel not far from the city. My heart raced, not with fear, but with exhilaration. There was a sense of power in doing something I knew I wasn't supposed to, in stepping into a world where no one's expectations bound me. When it was over, I felt not guilt but relief, as if I had exhaled a part of myself I didn't even realize I was holding in. That night, I went home, smiled at James when he called to say he was running late, and slipped seamlessly back into the life he knew. Weeks turned into months, and the pattern continued. I was careful, calculating, almost methodical. I covered my tracks, deleted messages, and ensured that no trace remained to betray me. Each encounter was a calculated risk, a thrill that made me feel alive in ways that routine and safety never had. I was addicted to the contrast, the predictability of home life and the raw unpredictability of these secret interactions. I told myself I could manage it, that I was clever enough to balance both worlds without consequence. And then, the first hint of danger appeared. I noticed a slight discomfort, subtle, almost ignorable at first, but it persisted. A visit to the doctor confirmed my fears. I had contracted an STD. My mind raced, panic and guilt intertwining. This wasn't just a secret anymore. This was a consequence that could not be hidden. The thought of what James would say, what he would do, froze me. I had imagined all kinds of hypothetical confrontations in the past, but nothing could prepare me for the reality of facing this truth. I tried to process it privately at first, considering my options. The internet men had been anonymous, brief, and ultimately unknowable. But James was everything permanent in my life. The thought of losing him terrified me, not because I loved him any less, but because I loved the life we had built, and I had shattered it from the inside without any warning. My hands trembled as I stared at my phone, contemplating the message I might have to send, the confession I might have to make. I knew the moment I told him, nothing could remain the same, and I did tell him. Not in person, not with a gentle preamble or a soft explanation. I sent a text, brief, stark, unavoidable. The moment those words left my fingers, a wave of regret crashed over me. James's reply was instant, furious, and cold. He wasn't pleading, crying, or begging for understanding. He was calculating. He told me that this wasn't just a breach of trust, that the consequences were real and tangible, that he would be taking legal action, that I had endangered him in ways that could not be ignored. In that instant, the thrill, the liberation I had felt with strangers online evaporated. What had seemed like freedom now looked like a cage of my own making. I had traded temporary excitement for a permanent nightmare. The realization was crushing. Every encounter, every stolen moment of autonomy had led me here. I was exposed, vulnerable, and completely alone in the aftermath. Yet, even as the weight of consequences pressed down, there was a flicker of understanding. In some dark, twisted way, this was a moment of clarity. I had hidden parts of myself for years, suppressed desires, unspoken frustrations, a yearning for life beyond the predictable. And in doing so, I had learned something brutal but undeniable. Freedom, when pursued selfishly and without consideration for others, carries a cost that cannot be ignored. Now, I sit in my apartment, staring at the ceiling, feeling the emptiness that comes from knowing you hurt someone you once considered the center of your world. Messages from James continue to arrive, legal notices, demands, warnings. Each one is a reminder of the life I took for granted, of the trust one violated, of the love I gambled away. And yet, there's a strange sense of liberation lingering too, not the reckless freedom I once chased, but clarity about who I am, what I wanted, and the consequences of actions unchecked by foresight. I replay every decision, every encounter, every choice that led me here. I wonder if it was worth it, whether the thrill ever justified the damage. And I realize that the lesson is harsher than anything I expected. The pursuit of freedom without accountability is a perilous path. The liberation I once felt was a mirage, fleeting and dangerous, and the cost has been all too real.